moderator for this panel discussion, Mr. S. Ramakrishna, Managing Director, Balaji Marine. He's the driving force behind Balaji, a 28-year success story. As a promoter director, he's not just led the company, but actively shaped the industry. With extensive experience in custom broking, freight forwarding, and logistics, he's a vocal and honest professional sharing his wealth of knowledge at conferences and industry forums. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for our moderator, Mr. S. Ramakrishna, Managing Director, Balaji Marine. Take your seats, sir. Thank you. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Mukesh Oza, Group President and CEO, Samsara Group. Mr. Mukesh is the visionary leader behind Samsara Group India. With over 4 decades in shipping and logistics, he transformed Samsara into the most comprehensive service provider, leading with the innovation and a wide network of state-of-the-art offices across 80+ locations in India. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Mr. Mukesh Oza. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Hakan Sevik, Managing Partner, Econ Lines. He helped establish Econ Lines in September 2018. Previously, he was Division Director with Container Ships Maritime Transport and Trade SA. He holds almost 3 decades of experience in the shipping industry. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Mr. Hakan Sevik. Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Dharmendra Ganrade, Head of Logistics Management Center, Larsen & Toubro. With over 2.5 decades of expertise in global shipping and logistics, he's a thought leader and subject matter expert, regularly featured in global conferences. In past, he has successfully led and managed complex shipping and logistic operations with large MNCs and Indian companies. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Mr. Dharmendra Ganrade. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Animesh Gupta, Ex-President and Group Chief of Logistic Officer, Jindal Steel and Power. He is a seasoned leader with 28+ years of techno-commercial expertise. From turnaround strategies to Six Sigma excellence, he excels in procurement, global sourcing, and operational management. Not 28 plus 32 years of experience. That's a very long time. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Mr. Animesh Gupta. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Savir Julka, Global Head, IG and Logistics, Director, IEBV, Inox CVA. With a career spanning 30 years, he holds expertise in core engineering industry, focused on industrial sales and marketing, business development, media and communication, logistics, and specialized in high-value techno-commercial interest. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Mr. Savir Julka. Next, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Ashish Kumar, Chief Chartering Operations and Maritime Sustainability Group Shipping, Tata Steel. Alumnus from IIT Kharagpur and IIM Lucknow with 4 years of shop floor experience, maintenance, followed by 3 years in asset management and 10 years in supply chain. Currently, he leads the Tata Steel shipping function in India with focus in ship chartering operations and maritime sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for Mr. Ashish Kumar. Over to you, Mr. Ramakrishnan, and have a wonderful panel discussion.
Thank you very much. After the first inaugural session, which has been very vibrant, and our esteemed chief guest, Mr. P.K. Agarwal, spoke so vibrantly, I think he has set the stone for this a fantastic logistic exhibition, and also the so many people who are into this trade and who really understands and also wants to how we want to improve upon the logistics in India, how to take it further. Our logistic industry in India in a global term. We have an expat also from Turkey. The second person from Turkey here, from the inaugural session, the Turkish airline were there. The very elite panel, one from the shipping industry, two from the users, two from the basically the people who implement the government vision and thinking. Also, collectively, if you really see, they are logistics. In all real terms, they are logistics people. Without any much ado, I do not know how to introduce Oja Sahab. Oja Sahab by himself. I don't know how many people know that in the shipping industry, a legend like him, who has got 82 branches, sir? 82 branches in India. 82 branches meaning that the tier 2, tier 3, probably, I don't know if there is any tier 4 also, he has an office. And the way he has brought in everybody together in a very seamless manner, still a very humble personality. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I have no guts to ask you any question, but I would surely, with their going with their theme, I would want you to express your opinion on two factors. I will start with the first one, unleashing the shipping industry transformative potential in driving national GDP growth, which is actually a theme of this, and propelling India's position as a significant player in the global trade landscape. I would want you to talk about this first, sir.
Check. Thank you, Mr. Ram. The future among the current nations who are trying to grow, those who claim to be developed, is only with India. I have been to several countries in the last year, and when I look at what is happening in different parts of the world and how others are trying to cope with recovery, this is the paradise. I was in China last week, just came back. They are trying to put the act together with due respect to Chinese government and the people. But what is happening in India, I must say what we require to be in the League of the Nations, who are among the top economies with 5 trillion and more to happen. We need ports not one or two, but many more on both the coasts, with at least 40 to 50 berths to accommodate different types of ships, from multipurpose to bulk to break bulk to container to ro-ro and passenger and naval ships. This is something which puts us in the propelling growth position. We have my principals also here, Econ Line, and they carry a lot of cargo. Same time, I would say we need strong Indian shipping companies state-wise. If we have to propel the growth, I would think we should have a Gujarat Shipping Corporation, we should have a Kerala Shipping Corporation, we should have a Tamil Nadu Shipping Corporation. Like China has done, the state grows, the growth is taken by foreign lines and also taken by Indian shipping lines, whether container, bulk, break bulk, doesn't matter. This, coupled with support from logistics in terms of air and road, is going to be something which will put us on the top, which means think big, do big, prove you are big. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It reminds me during the Chola period in India, probably we were the one who were supplying ship to China, and there were fleet of ship used to go to China with our cargo. I think we are not very far away to come back to that stage. Probably shipbuilding is one thing which is not very good in India in large numbers. I think that is also one factor which you touched upon. When you have so many corporations of the state level, it will surely be done. Thank you so much, sir. So the second point I just want to ask you, sir, that since you have 82 branch offices in all over India, obviously you would have got the talent pool there. What is one or probably the strategies what you had adopted in nurturing those talent to bring into the mainstream? Because you know, in India every 50 kilometers the language and water changes. But 82 branches putting together on a national level has been fantastic. What has been your thought about nurturing the people and bringing their talent into the field, sir?
Sir, thank you. The growth has taken place because of our tremendous faith, trust and confidence on the Indian economy. Secondly, on the people who know the local market very well. We can have a corporate strategy, corporate planning, sales strategy, but the person at the local level, like I have office in Morbi. There are very few shipping lines or agents who are in Morbi. I have office in Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Agra, where people like to go and see Taj Mahal, but I am seeing cargo over there besides Taj Mahal. So we put the local people with the knowledge and teaching and training them how to approach the direct customers, the freight forwarders, any intermediary. And I personally sit in most of the meetings when I am in town in India on a weekly meeting to meet them, talk to them and guide them along with my CEO. So that helps, and the vision and our plan is not through several intermediaries. It's direct from a branch. It may be a small branch, direct between the top management and the branch. We had a vision to set up any office within a radius of 200 kilometers in India. We have almost reached that stage. It means we are closer to the customer, and I did it because I saw if Concor can set up a depot, if Jet Airways during those days when I was setting up the company can fly to smaller locations, why I cannot have the office over there? This is how Samsara is born. So besides shipping, the railway, the transportation, air cargo. We have developed several verticals, but only with one particular theme. I trust the ability of my people. That helps a lot because I cannot be everywhere. None of us can be everywhere. And we drive them to do what we want to do. And market share is our criteria.
Thank you, sir. It is wonderful for people, the youngsters who are here, to learn from you. 82 branches. I'm emphasizing on 82 branches because the local people to bring into the international market and understand the shipping parlance to the T is fantastic. Congratulations, sir. We have Mr. Hakan Sevik, managing partner, Alcon Lines, Turkey. India-Turkey has a very long relationship. And probably the history by itself speaks about the India-Turkey relationship, including one country who has been propagating India to be in the UN Council. So, there has been a two-way trade between India and Turkey. Now, since you have seen both sides of the world, Turkey as well as in India, because you run a vessel into India with the container where he is the agent or a principal to each other. He runs your vessel and you give him the container to him. I just want to ask you, how do you navigate international regulation and trade agreement, examining their impact on shipping operation and post efficiency?
Thank you very much for your kind introduction about me, about my company. This is really my great chance and honor to meet the Indian industry, national and global stakeholders who are bringing their vast knowledge to this exhibition. And also special thank to Mr. Oza and Samsara Group. Mr. Oza, he has initiated this idea to be present, physically present in this exhibition. So really I appreciate his efforts as well. With regard to the trade agreements between Turkey and India, actually there is no free trade agreement between two countries. Right. However, India has the liberty or has the opportunity on discounted tariffs, which is applied by European Union, and it's really big advantage for India. Both India and Turkey, we are actually the World Trade Organization members from the same year, since 1995. And the members, we have made our commitments to open the trade markets between each and every members. And to prove this open market issue, I can say that India, last year they exported in value $10 billion to Turkey, and it increased from 8 billion to 10 billion, which had, I think, 2% of your global Indian exports. So our doors, our markets are widely open to India, whereas the Turkish side, our export is only 1.5 or was 1.5 billion last year, 2022, but it was increased from 1.2, 1.3. So looking at these figures, I mean, we can for sure say that the relation is there. India is the number 5 rank in the whole world economy. We are number 17. But what I can see, this is my actually second voyage. Actually, this time by plane. I was in Kandla in 1989 while I was working at sea, and there was only Kandla port, the center of all India. But now, after let's say 30 years, we have Mundra, we have Navasheva that we are, as Akbon, we are putting our vessels, and they are efficiently operated at these terminals. So, and a kind of general impact of the trade agreements and the trade between India and Turkey, the shipping is really getting its benefit as the only transport link and model geographically and economically is shipping. So thank you very much for this term.
Thank you. In all real terms, if we have the free trade agreement between India and Turkey, probably this imports and exports will exponentially increase. Now you have a large experience between India and Turkey. What are the probably what would you want the India to do something which on the shipping to increase or enhance the in terms of how to strengthen the relationship between India and Turkey?
Turkey. Well, in this respect, as we are in a service sector, we are serving to our customers. I mean, I can share the difficulties that they are facing with India trade. Like there are some limitations on some sort of goods. Like I read that boric acid, which was the third, the most exported goods of Turkey, but it is now by the government. It's a bit limited, whereas Turkey simply exports to the States, to Russia, to European Unions without any limitations. I mean, this can be maybe softened. We have in our containers, we have the apples. We are loading a lot. Also, again, you have the authority of Food Safety and Standards Authority that are imposing, our customer says, a few strict regulations on these food imports. I mean, if you can soften a little bit these processes, it will really help us. It will really help India and Turkey to increase their relation. As a small, humble suggestion, whereas you mentioned the ship construction, shipbuilding, I can have my proposal to build actually the containers. I can see really big similarities between India and China. And China, they really now the market leader in container building, which they have their exports and imports together. So in the middle of these trades, India is nicely located. And I mean, a lot of lines are calling there. So it can be, maybe we can discuss in this session that this can be also an alternative investment of India that can help shipping at all.
It's a fantastic idea. In fact, India is looking for the container manufacturers. In India, there's almost more than 95% of the containers are manufactured in China, and throughout the globe, those are the containers which are purchased. We have two of the steel magnets here, and the people who build the cryogenic tanks are here. So Oja Sahab is there as a shipping person. Anybody wants to contribute on this India-Turkey relationship, how to strengthen it? Any of you? No? Oja Sahab, you?
The best location after we cross Suez to reach entire Mediterranean, Black Sea, North Africa is Turkey. And that is the reason when we had the opportunity to discuss the new service, we grab this opportunity and start representing Econline. The, in terms of products, Turkey is able to supply what any other European country is able to supply. This is the, not the flexibility, but versatility of the economy that when we look to other nations in North Europe or UK, we look at Turkey because Turkey is able to do exactly same. So we need to advertise, bring more consciousness, awareness of what Turkey and India can do together. And via the gateway of Turkey, how many other nations can be served by Turkey, that is something which is going to help a lot. On a small diversion, there is a company in Bhavnagar in Gujarat which has started manufacturing containers, and I have visited that company along with my team, and we have to see cost wise how they can do in terms of comparison with China, but it is possible to manufacture up to 500 to 600 containers per month. And I was talking to Mr. Dinesh Shastri of Tata Steel 10 days back only in Dubai, and says, please provide special steel, cotton steel to make these containers, and only companies like Tata or ArcelorMittal or Jindal can take the initiative to put India into a big league of container manufacturing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. In fact, Bhavnagar container manufacturing, the container corporation has booked 10,000 containers, orders have been given. So there is very limited scope for other people to have the containers unless until they grow their capacity to a great extent. Thank you so much, Haken, for your thought. I think we would go to the persons who really, the Prime Minister's vision is brought into the fore, and how the PPP model of private public participation has grown in India, how the group like L&T has brought in this, on the paper whatever it was, and the vision whatever the Prime Minister has said has brought into the fore, and they have done a fantastic work on that. Mr. Dharmendra is here. He is the head of logistics and management. Sir, with your vast experience of L&T, what are the ocean-related challenges that in the PPP model that are faced in infrastructure, investment, and policy development? You can be as frank as possible, sir. We are in a very close network, and we want this to be actually taken to the government to improve upon the system.
Yeah. Thanks for this question. Check.
Sound jara badana hai isko.
Yeah, check. Okay. Well, yeah, PPP has been in fray now since last, I think it first was introduced in 97 or so.
Yeah.
97, 98, the government introduced it, and mainly to support the infrastructure related development, where private players alone or the government alone could not bring the change or the efficiency which was envisaged to put the India on the global map for the various infrastructure related or various process oriented or manufacturing oriented, the scheme of things. So since then, actually it has come a long way. And per se, L&T also has grown along with the PPP model in many ways, in fact. As many of you must be aware that L&T is into many infrastructure development related activities, be it power sector, oil and gas, roads, bridges, and you name it. I mean, we manufacturers. We have a large scale manufacturing also of the reactors and vessels, heavy engineering equipment. So we do a lot of manufacturing processes of fabrication for the infrastructure related items. So at the same time, we also build on a large scale basis. We take large contract for building the ports also, ports infra, and of course the Mumbai airport, or I mean there are many airports which are built by L&T. So all these things have been a success story actually. Over a period of time, if you look at the like the parameters which we internally look at generally for the success is the time taken to conclude a project. That means one is a pre-bid, then bid, and then post-bid, whatever the execution happens. So pre-bid sounds absolutely very good, just like the engagement ceremonies, everything is looks good, sounds good. Bid is a stage where all that the contract starts getting into the discussion stage, because typically PPP model do not really operate on lowest bid kind of a thing. It's always the capacity of the private player which brings it to the fore, and then the real game starts when execution starts, and then the timelines given, and each partner has to play their own role, all the stakeholders, and that's where the success and failure of the PPP happens. But fortunately for our country, overall in the scheme of things, not only for L&T as a company, but I think for all players, it has been in a positive zone where most of the bureaucratic issues which usually used to take much longer and much elaborate exercise to conclude before even you can lay a foundation stone has now been done away. In fact, it has been the timelines and the certainty of execution is visible. There are people, as Mr. Prime Minister himself has been, promoting that he not only lays the foundation but inaugurates the same project. So that is the beauty of this PPP, which is now coming into this, where all stakeholders are given the due weightage. The challenges are removed or unblocked simultaneously in parallel with multiple agencies working together to make that project happen. So that's the stage where we are in, and I think overall, if you ask me the challenges, yes, we do have a challenges on behalf of industry. I can tell you one challenge which we need to really overcome, and quickly we need to overcome, and especially if we have to really hit the 5 trillion economy, is the challenge of little unrest which happens at the project sites, which time to time it comes up as an unrest, and the land acquisition timeline for the land acquisition which has been promised around, or even the efforts are there, but then there are ecosystems are such around that the overall performance has been good, but a lot more can be done. So that is one thing which the challenge we continue to face, but there is more to grow.
Thank you so much. We have been, as a federation, we have been attending a lot of Gati Shakti's projects, and in fact the inauguration of Gati Shakti, it was so fantastic, the pictorial PPT what they have done. I think 38 ministries gave the approval in one go. 38 ministries giving approval in one go is something fantastic, and it is a pure digitization. How that digitization and Gati Shakti has really reduced the bureaucratic hurdle which any industry experience with now, has it actually improved, or is there still something more to be done?
Yeah, in fact the impact has improved drastically, I would say, because we deal a lot with the multiple agencies, multiple ministries at the same time for a single project. So overall in the scheme of things, we find we as a player or operator who are in the infrastructure development game, that the number of windows have been reduced, the cycle time or the processing time required at each window. I mean, even if it's a digital window, there is somebody behind the window managing the whole scheme. We have seen not only the improvement in terms of the submission of the putting up the requirement to the multiple ministries with a less number of windows, but also the response time has improved drastically. In fact, we have seen that because of the Gati Shakti program, we as a player, and I'm talking on behalf of probably all infrastructure development private players, that there has been, as I said earlier also, there has been a certainty brought forward for the commitments to be made, and probably the milestone as a player, we would always look at the milestone payments and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of things are dependent on the milestone, and many things are related to the probably the approval from the agencies themselves, multiple ministries. So this Gati Shakti has really brought tremendous positive change and impact. And also, in fact, I would like to connect it, though it was briefly touched in the previous session by Mr. Shankar, but I have been a strong proponent of this. Not only Gati Shakti alone, our overall logistics sector itself has been performing or has improved significantly over a period of 2 decades. Probably many of you would recall that 2 decades back, if you would have attended any conferences here and there or read articles in ET or many other business newspaper, we have been always taught that our GDP to logistics as a cost percentage to GDP has been 13 to 14%, 14, 13, 14, 13, 14, all these years, whether Gati Shakti or no Gati Shakti before. And I was zapped, in fact, about 2 years back, somebody who started even referring it to 16%, 18%. I said, who the hell has been deciding this? What was it for 13, 14, and now somebody is promoting 16 to 18%, and in the global forum.
Despite improvement in logistics.
Exactly. I mean, what not has improved? Every segment of logistics has improved. Look back. I mean, I don't have to tell. Everything has improved. You would agree, Mr. Ojha, in fact. And who is not here in India? Top 5 of every business segment companies are here. Top multinationals are here. Look at the latest last 3-4 years entrant of Apple, the iPhone manufacturing. If they're all here, why are they here? Why are they doing business in India all these years? So the truth is, actually it is the component of the index is not aligned to the reality of India. And only, just for example's sake, in fact not wanting to get into detailing, but how Gati Shakti will untie this actually. The component of this, let's say there are 20 parameters. Of 20, 7-8 parameters have no relevance to the logistics at all. So that, which is talking about logistics cost as percentage. And 5 or 6 parameters are relevant but outdated. So that way only 30% of the parameters are by and large relevant, and those 30% parameters are putting the cost at that percent, which is very high. So we need to look at that. In fact, you'll be happy to note in one of the session Economic Advisory Council of Prime Minister's Office, where Mr. Rakesh Mohan has been entrusted with the responsibility of putting up a task force who can set the parameters right and bring it to the fore, or rather validate what NCEAR has come out with 8.8 as a percentage for GDP of 2017-18 when they released it in 2019. So just initial validation is already done. We are actually there at 8.8 to 9%. It's only a matter of time. Probably the government comes out with that, the task force comes out with that report, and probably makes all of us feel proud that we as an Indian in the Indian logistics sector is no longer 13-14%, but somewhere between 8 to 9% only. It's a reality, it's happening. So that's the reason India is actually growing, and we are poised to be the 5 trillion economy, in fact. So that's my answer to the Gati Shakti. Could be one of the answer. Here, look at this. I mean, combined with the Gati Shakti and overall development, here you have this as percentage.
Thank you so much. In fact, where we are having a conference, look at this venue. Something fantastic. So, thank you so much. After the infrastructure, we are going to the person who develops tankers for various gases which are very important for our country's development, Mr. Savir Julka. They have been developing the tanks for industrial gas, LNG and cryogenic tanks, etc. in a very large way, right from a drum to 20,000 metric tons, maybe more than that. It's been a very successful story in Indian industry, which started probably 20 years before, 30 years before, and they have come a very, very long way. I just want to ask you, what are some key challenges and issues that have emerged for the engineering and EPC company in the new normal?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. As you rightly said, we specialize in manufacture of very specialized products called cryogenic tanks. And for those who don't know about it, it's special tanks which are used to store industrial and medical gases in cryogenic liquid form. So oxygen, nitrogen, argon, carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide. And now we are specializing in liquid helium and liquid hydrogen storage systems. It's a very niche product line and not many global companies are in this. We should be claiming to be in the top 3 globally. And 30 years ago when we began manufacturing these and in a few years started exporting it, the biggest challenge we faced was not being competitive because it was a monopolistic market, our competitors were charging heavily, but to give a delivered solution because nobody knew how to import tanks in various countries all over the world from a elephant country like India. And I have no hesitation to say that our success in coming to where we are now largely depends on the experience and learning that the logistics companies have had with us over the years in providing us the right solution, right project management systems to be able to deliver these cargo to our customer destinations successfully, safely, in a timely manner because our products have a soft outer shell that could get damaged and needs a lot of careful handling. So, as has been mentioned in the previous panel, the cost effectiveness, the safety with which the cargo is handled, and the timely, effective delivery that the solutions can be provided are the success that engineering companies like us can go through. Yeah.
So I want you to speak about a little about your experience and contribution Chandrayaan.
Yeah, I mean, in 1999, we were awarded the project of setting up the complete rocket fuel handling system at ISRO, which means all the propellants that go into the firing of the rockets, the storage systems, the piping systems, in fact, almost 200 to 300 high pressure valve boxes that are installed in the blasting tower were our responsibility. And back then, we weren't making hydrogen tanks. That we started a few years later. So our tryst with shipping challenges came in when we imported these tanks from Russia. And when everything is going well and when everything is going on time and there's no problem, something wrong is going to happen. And that's exactly what happened. The ship overturned somewhere in the sea and these big, huge tanks, because they are vacuum insulated, were floating in the sea, banging on some shores of France or somewhere. And we start the process all over again. So, yes, I mean, we learned the hard way when, of late, let's say 2 years ago, when the South Korean government takes a decision to go ahead with the hydrogen program like India is doing aggressively now. They chose the cryogenic liquid route, which means they will be producing hydrogen, liquefying it, storing it, and transporting it all over the country in liquid container transport vehicles. We were selected as the cryogenic expert partners to deliver the first largest liquid hydrogen cryogenic tank for South Korea. From India as well, was the biggest of that size. To give a scale, it's 240,000 liters. That should be around 600 CBM in your language of shipping terms. And then subsequently this year we delivered much bigger, about 311,000 liter tanks to the SK group in South Korea. So this is coming because we are being recognized as a very experienced company coming from a country which is dedicatedly offering good engineering products. And again, success, as I say, is hand in hand with the perfect logistics solutions available so that we deliver it safe and on time. One more example is the thermonuclear energy program, ITER it's called in Europe. Only 2 companies in India are contributing to this mega multi-billion project. And this project, you'll be surprised to know, is kind of creating a sun on the earth. They will have hydrogen fusion controlled by superconducting magnets that produce so much of heat that they need liquid helium at 269, minus 269 to cool it. And these two companies are sitting on this dais, L&T and Inox. They are supplying the most prestigious equipment of the reactor in which the whole shit will happen. And we are supplying the multi-core liquid nitrogen cooled helium transfer lines about 4.5 kilometers length in spools and in pipeline packages. Our part is almost over, your part is also almost over now. This is recognition of Make in India, recognition of the engineering capabilities. So we are there to do miracles, and we just want you to do your magic as well.
Fantastic. You touched upon the logistics, you touched upon the your technical capabilities. If I can go to the next panelist, if you don't mind, please. Okay. I already got a signal that we are touching 1 hour. Mr. Animesh Gupta was representing Jindal's. Now, when I talk about Naveen Jindal, probably one thing we must clap upon is that if everybody can furl the national flag throughout the night, it is only because of Naveen Jindal. Kudos to him. He has been working with Jindal Steels and Powers. He has been an importer, he has been an exporter. Also, somewhere he is an operator as well, the Jindals.
Yes.
What are the challenges that you face in terms of infrastructure within ports, and also suggest possible solution? We will be talking only within the port, not outside the port, because I am told there is a next session who are going to talk about the outside port also.
Inland waterways and other things.
Yes.
Inland waterways and
Inland
other
waterways, yeah.
You want me to start?
Yes, yes, please.
Thank you so much. So, lot of things in the question what you have asked, Mr. Gangrade has from L&T has already covered about the infrastructure. So, as he rightly said that we have come a long way where hurdles were enormous, but there is a gap between the lip and the sip is still there, and which is what I would like to say and address a single point of window. A couple of years back, we had been discussing this at the ministry level, at the bureaucrat level. That single point of window needs to be there. They have done a lot of it because there are some regulatory challenges at the state level, and there are some regulatory challenges at the central level. So when we are talking about the infrastructure, it has to be a mix of the two. Land acquisition, approvals of forest land. At port, there are certain special approvals which are required. And normally, people are not aware of how it has to happen. So if it is done through a single point of window, probably things can be taken to the next step. Probably the last step in the digitalization, what we are still facing. Now when we talk about the digitalization, there is software which needs certain attention. Now this software has been made, has been tried, has been running, but there are hitches when the operator or when a tender person, he sits on the window on the software, he has lot of challenges. There are windows which try to take care of it, but yes, there also we need certain people in the system to have the skill developed to address it, like we have call centers. So this is missing there. Like if you have some problem in your credit card or any of the services, You have a toll-free number and you call and then you, but in the bureaucracy or in the government system, whether it is the state or it is the central government, you don't have those toll-free numbers or those call centers which can address. So while developing such systems, we need to have these feedbacks as well as solution given to the people who are sitting. So that is one thing which is very important. Mr. Agrawal in the opening session had talked about a lot of things. Good, when we are talking about we have to be vocal about the local. The chairman of Samsara and Gradeji, everyone has been talking about it. So he has 80 plus offices. So what our present Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, had been talking about, he had been doing it 80 years back. You said you started
30 years before.
80. So he had been vocal about the local 80 years back. So this has to be something in the regulatory also. You have to be vocal about the local, because the regulations in a local place, there are tribals over there. The state government is sitting in the capital city of the state, and either in Delhi or in Bombay, the central is sitting. They are not aware of any tribals, so they know there is something. So the approval, so if we address to the thing which Samsara Group had done it 80 years back, vocal about the local, and things come up in a structured way, probably all approvals will be one way through.
This is fantastic. In fact, as we deal in almost all logistic ministries, whenever we have a problem or we start about some issues, today at least in Ministry of Finance we can tell you for sure, in a jiffy they come with the data. These are the things they have done, and these are the things which they are going to be doing in near future, and they commit a date by which it will be completed. I think the government has also come in a very long way. I do agree that there is a vast country like India, the central administration might not know everything. But for that, the government has come with the skill ministry. There is a skill development which is being done at each of the state, and a central minister is appointed for developing this skill. What is your thought about the skill development? By the way, he is in chemical engineer, and the process engineering is his passion. So I would want to briefly say, what do you want to talk about the skill development in our industry?
So looking at the short time, I think like what has been already done, like the ministry has always, it used to be under the education ministry, now it is a separate ministry to have more focus. Now when we talk about vocal for local, it is a skill development only. So when you talk about the local person over there, he needs to have those skills to cater to the logistic industry. Now, by the way, since we all are logisticians sitting over here, we should understand what is logistics. So logistic is basically a logic with a measurement, which is with a stick. Logic with a stick is what is all logistic all about, the supply chain all about. So you have a logic, the local person has a different logic in the local place because he understands the local dynamics of that place. So if he has a developed skill as a logistic person, as a logic, and he measures it and gives a feedback to his higher ups in the state or at the center places, probably things will be completely at a different level. Now skill development, what we have been doing, there had been a lot of institutes which have been catering to the supply chain management. Now there is one important thing, since we all are logistic people over here. I come from a chemical engineering background. Most of us will be management people. Like I also did my management. But a Lalaji company, there is always a person who comes from his village. Now he has to give him the job. So he will be sent either to the logistic or in the stores or in the warehousing, which is supply chain management. So typically the Indian business houses, the business owners had always been thinking that it is not a very specialized job. Although we understand it's a highly specialized job, And we want to understand and we want to give it to the industry, we are service industry, to our manufacturing internal service, as an internal service provider, that we are highly specialized and we talk about time first and not the cost first. Whereas the Lalaji will always be talking about the cost first and not the time. आने दो 10 दिन के बाद आने दो, let the cost be low. So we understand as skill development is very important in our department, in our supply chain. We need to have highly professional supply chain professionals, like one of us, probably Samsara sir is Mr. Oza, by way of his experience, he has graduated and he is probably a PhD in supply chain. We all, by way of our experience and exposure, like 32 years in the industry, from a process engineering person to a supply chain person, I understand this so very well that a person gets motivated automatically, but until unless he has the right skill, he cannot do it. I'll take 1 more minute and give a very, very simple example of 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks back during the Deepavali. There was a catastrophe in Uttarakhand where 17 of our laborers were stranded, and anyone and everyone was there and the focus was there. Now the person, NDRF was there, that disaster recovery team was there. There was a recent video I saw and the lady was telling, like, while these people, 17 people were trapped inside, they had the oxygen to breathe, but to keep them off track, so they had a 6-inch pipeline which was drilled through. They had pushed in the Ludo and Sapsidi, snake and ladder, inside, so that they keep on playing that. And there was a gentleman inside who told, once they came out, that they were doing yoga inside.
Correct.
Now understand this, until unless the person outside, he had that skill developed and he understood the psychology of the people inside. Now this is a skill development. That person outside in the team understood how to divert them, and otherwise they were eating there inside, they were shitting there inside, they were in the same place, so it would have been so unhygienic also. Just imagine, and they would have actually got doomed up. But they were playing Sapsidi, they were playing snake and ladder, they were playing Ludo, they were doing yoga, and they were keeping alive.
It's fantastic.
So this is what is skill development to that level. So people outside had those skills developed. They understood anything and everything which is happening inside.
Thank you so much. In fact, I represent the Federation of Freight Forwarders Association in India. We have for skills, we have a big institute which we request all the industry people to send their people there for educating on all the entire spectrum of logistic industry. We have a fantastic faculty there. Now the last speaker is basically icing on the cake, the Tatas. What they do not manufacture can be listed faster than what they manufacture. So you have been the chief chartering operators and maritime sustainability in the Tata Steel. Oja Sahab also talked about the cotton steel, which will be helpful to manufacture containers in India. I will come to that later. With the technical expertise that the Tata Group has, what would you suggest to the government to strengthen intermodal transportation with 5 trillion and 10 trillion target in mind? The infrastructure, they have already spoken about it. What beyond that?
Yeah, thank you for this question. If I look deeper into aspect, most of our plants and facilities are hinterland facility. And typically, if you look any developed country like China or US, the coastal movement of the cargoes, irrespective of steel or whatever we talk about, is much higher. When we talk about the development of inland waterways, of course it's a next topic subject, but that's one of the main focal point for the government as well as for users like us. So intermodal is something which is going to grow from here, because the way we are growing, the traditional solutions might not work for us. Of course, we are catching up very fast. We discussed about so many things that infra, which used to be there 20 years back, has completely transformed. And of course, we'll see this transformation going up thanks to all the industries which are helping into this cause. But the thinking has to change in a manner where we all believe that we have to push all these alternate mode of transportation, and whenever you think about alternate mode, it has to be multimodal transportation because of the structure and because of the way we are there in the country's map. So for us, the focus is to ensure that the focus on railways or the roads, it has to be moved, and it has to move on the coastal side. So we are pushing more and more coastal shipments as a user of this industry. And we believe that with growing infrastructure and the growing production across all the segments, because we are a growing economy, we believe that next 20 years is for India, and we will grow very fast, like 5 trillion economy. I think it's a target which we might achieve before we actually target. And if you read all kind of statistics, people say that we might overtake China by 2070. Of course, that's too much a period, of course, to discuss about, but that's still a very clear picture as to where we want to go. And that's why the multimodal transportation has to come up in a big way, and there are multiple people working towards that. We don't see that coming up very fast because there's something in the backdrop, but we will very soon see this coming up in a big way, and a lot of us will be using that infrastructure to actually move on.
Thank you. You see, such a huge conglomerate who operate pan-world, if I say not pan-India, pan-world we are operating. Don't you all feel that there should be an Indian flag? There was only one shipping corporation which has also have been hived off, or probably it is going to be. In one of the last month's session, we were just talking about it. We are almost 15,000 custom brokers and the freight forwarders. Freight forwarders, if you add, it will be much more. If you put in lakh of rupees, we can buy Shipping Corporation of India. Okay, but group company like Tata's, who they are in airlines, they are in ports, they are in various things, and you also have the ability to manufacture cotton, steel, same as Jindal, JSW. Is there any possibility that you all join together and have more national vessel? It is a pride of India. Your take on that, sir?
Yeah, so you're right in the sense that India as a shipping hub is something which is not on the radar right now, because we have one Shipping Corporation of India as one entity, and of course that is more focused towards many other businesses. The kind of growth which we are seeing, probably yes, there has to be, every state should have a maritime board, if I may say so, and they should have a state shipping corporation kind of stuff, because that's the structure by which a focus might come on this as a shipping company or a shipping provider services to all the world. Tata getting into ship manufacturing, if you ask me, or getting into a Shipping Corporation of India kind of stuff, well, it has been thought of in the past, but probably because of Shipping Corporation being there and a lot of other people coming up in that, that's why we have not moved into. Whether we will venture or not, I'm not very sure on that aspect. But what I can comment is that there's a huge potential, and anybody wants to get into that area, probably there is this huge scope.
Thank you so much. I think I need to really conclude now. We have such a wonderful Julka Sahab. I have not been fair with you. My apologies. I think we don't need any conclusion. Everybody have been a stalwart, and everybody have expressed their opinion so clearly. So I am not there to conclude anything excepting clap for each one of you, sir. Thank you so much.
I would like to say, with your kind permission, the situation in the world is such that if you are not dealing with India, you cannot survive. I am not talking in an arrogant manner, but I am a very proud Indian. Anybody who wants to survive in this world and grow has to deal with India. Thank you.
I think that's called FOMO. Fear of missing out.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a wonderful, insightful session. Let's hear it for all our panelists. A big round of applause. You all were absolutely amazing.